Hello, I'm back today with another video. I decided to do the PICC line video this time. I've been meaning to do this for a little while now, just to talk through things about the PICC line, why I had it, and PICC line care and things like that, just so people who don't know about it, it can be quite interesting to learn. My PICC line went in, I think it was the 12th of February. I had it inserted because I was due to have the ATG treatment the week after, and it would have been better to have it through the PICC line rather than a normal cannula that goes into the vein, just in case, because I think it's more reliable maybe, and if the treatment's like a strong treatment, they usually like to have PICC lines or Hickman lines, which usually go in here. PICC, so it's spelled PICC, it stands for peripherally inserted central catheter. So it goes into your arm by here, goes into a vein, and it's like maybe this is like a, what can I say? It's a line that's about this long, so starts in here and goes round to about by here, it's quite close to the heart. It starts by here and goes round and stops about by here, and then at the end there's like a little port up sticking out. I'll show a picture, I'll pop a picture up to show what mine looked like. It's inserted through a vein in your arm and passed through then to a larger vein near your heart, so I think it means that treatment can get to you a bit quicker than it would if it was a tablet or if it was through a small cannula in your lower arm or wherever they want to insert it. So having a PICC line comes with its own risks. So you have risk of bleeding, nerve injury, irregular heartbeat, blood clots, and infection. So infection can be quite a nasty one if your line does get infected, because obviously because it comes to about here, so it's quite close to the heart, which can be a bit risky. So they usually then take it out, send the end of it off for to the lab to get tested for infections. They cut like the tip of the line off. Luckily I didn't have any of them issues though, my line was quite good the whole way through. I had my line in for about, so 12th of February went in and it came out, hang on a minute. So it went in the 12th of February, came out on the 27th of April, so I was in for over 2 months, is it? Around 2 months? No, February. Yeah, about 2 months mine was in for. I think they can stay in for over a year from what I remember. If you're on, say if you're on cancer treatment, that's going to take quite a long time, then obviously they'd be using the PICC line then, which is better than having cannulas inserted every week when you go for the chemo or whatever treatment you'd be having. So for PICC line insertion, so I went, it's a day case in the hospital, so you go to the medical day unit or well, any day centres in the hospital. I think I went to the medical day unit and I was there for about, I was there at 9 and I think I was out by about 12:30. The anaesthetist comes to consent you, talks through everything about what's going to happen. So basically then I went into the x-ray department, so I had the big x-ray on top of me. I was lying down and my arm, this arm was out straight then on like a board. The anaesthetist was sat there and he had an ultrasound machine, so he was scanning here then looking for the vein. Once they find the vein, they numb the area with local anaesthetic, which didn't hurt, it was fine. Local anaesthetic around the area, and then they pass the line through then with, I think there's a wire in the line at the time, just so when they think they've got it to the right area where it needs to go around here, they then take the x-ray, so the x-ray would be able to see the wire. Once they're happy that it's in the right place, they take the wire out, they secure it with a little port. Each PICC line can be different. I had an orange port, I can't remember what it was called, but that was then secured, so it clips the line in place and then is secured into the skin with like these two metal rods. It like hooks underneath your skin, so that's how it stays in place. And then the line just kind of like comes out here then with the two ports that they use at the end. The procedure itself only took about maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. It didn't take long at all. I suppose it's different for everyone. It depends if they've got good veins and depends how painful they find it. But mine went quite smoothly, and the line stayed in for, like I said, 2 months. So that was quite good. So after I had my PICC line, so it was inserted on the Friday, then I went up to Cardiff on the Monday after. It was used every day then when I was in Cardiff, because they were taking my bloods every day, and then it was being used for any treatment I was having. So all my ATG was going through the PICC line. I was having bloods taken from the PICC line. Any other IV medication I needed, it would all go through the PICC line. Platelets, blood transfusions, anything would go through there. So I didn't need another cannula, it was fine. Plus it's better because you're having your bloods taken every day. It saves having needles put into you every day, where you can just have it taken out of there, you don't feel anything, and it's much easier really. PICC line care, it's very important to keep the PICC line clean and sterile, because it's a high risk of infection if you don't keep it clean and sterile. So I'll pop in a video now of the PICC line being redressed and cleaned. So it gets redressed every week, and if it's not being used, it should be flushed every week as well, just in case it gets blocked. I was having bloods taken, at the point when I had the PICC line in, I was having my bloods taken twice a week anyway, so it would get flushed then. When they take blood out of it as well, it's very important they draw back a bit of blood first, and then they discard that, because that could be like contaminated blood with water or something if they flush the line. Then they take out 10 mils or however amount of blood they need, and that goes into the blood bottles and sent off. And then they usually flush it with either 10 or 20 mils of normal saline, so that's like sterile water in then, to flush the line to make sure the blood isn't clotting up and blocking the line. So you've got to make sure you've got a sterile field to start with before doing the dressing. So you've got your sterile gloves, alcohol wipes, sterile pack, some syringes, and your dressing. Okay, so first thing that the nurses would do is take off the ports at the end of the line. So they take them off. Then they get some alcohol wipes. Where do I get them now? Alcohol wipes, just to wipe the end of the ports, just to make sure everything's clean and reduces the risk of infection. Make sure everything's okay there. Giving that a good clean. Then they tend to pop on the new ports, keeping them in the caps just while they're putting them on, just to keep them clean and sterile. And then once they're on, the caps can come off then. You don't tend to need to give them a wipe over with the alcohol wipe again, because they're already sterile from inside the caps. Then they pull the old dressing off. The old dressing comes off. Sometimes they put cream on there if your skin is quite dry, but this and during this change I didn't have to have cream on my skin. So that's the orange port then, that keeps it secure, and the two rods are underneath your skin then. Then use one of these, I like to call them the lollipop stick, which has alcohol gel inside it, which is also sterile. You then clean around the PICC line area. Give it all a good clean to make sure that anything and everything has been cleaned off there. Go underneath the PICC line port and make sure that if there's any crusty areas around the PICC line entrance there, that you get them all off. Next up then, they try and move the port around a little bit to where it was last time, just so it's not leaning on the same area as on your skin as it was, so it doesn't mark the skin. They then secure it down with these little tapes, making sure that the end of the line is facing away, just so it's easier when they're using it, so they don't have to go inside of your arm. And then they get the dressing on top of it then, and that's all it is. The dressing I was using was the IV 3000. So it goes on like that, and it's got a little cover on top, which you then peel off. Once you peel that off, then you secure it all around the port area, just to make sure there's no air bubbles and it's all secure in and there's no way of infection getting in to the dressing. That's it. So after they decided to drop my blood test to once a week, I asked whether I needed to have the PICC line in anymore, because it wasn't being used, and I thought it might be better just to have it out. So on the 27th of April then, they said, because I don't need it, they can take it out. So it was quite simple to take out. So they took the dressing off, and then where the little orange port was, I think she unclipped the port. It was like it clips together, so unclipped the port, and then the bottom layer then, where the two hooks were in, she'd pull them out one by one. So I think if I explain that right. It's hard to explain without showing, but I haven't got any videos of that. So pull them out, tiny bit of pain, hardly anything, and then put pressure on it with the dress and stop the bleeding, but then it ends up looking like this. So it's just a little dot, there's hardly anything left there, and that was from a week, so it's healed up really nicely. Yeah, so all in all, that's about it with the PICC line that I can think of. It's just really important to keep it clean. At the start, I used to struggle, obviously going for showers. I was wrapping it with cling film because I had to keep it dry, because I had like a covering over it. And eventually then, from the pharmacy, I got like a PICC line cover. You have one of these then, and these go over your arm here. So it's secured either side like this. What are they called? Limbo Original Waterproof Protector, and they are quite good actually. It did protect my arm from water. It's just a bit of a pain because it was covering half of your arm, so you couldn't really wash your arm properly. But I don't have to wear them anymore. Every week now I go back weekly at the moment for normal bloods from the veins in your arms, and yeah, everything's good, so hopefully I won't need another one of them in. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching another video. Subscribe to the channel, because I'm hoping to do more videos like this, just so people are aware of these type of things, and the conditions and things that people tend to go through. It's things that people don't really know, and they wouldn't really know of unless they go through it themselves, so it might be quite interesting to learn about. So thank you again.